Good morning, everyone. Today we'll be discussing a specific application of artificial intelligence in agriculture, specifically how knowledge graphs can be utilized for assessing crop and pest diseases. So we'll first take you through the definition and architecture of a typical knowledge graph, and then we'll go into the details of the construction of knowledge graph in the field of crop and pest diseases, and how exactly can they apply in the industry. So we are all familiar with Google search. These days, whenever we require information, we simply go to Google and we search for that information. For example, if I search for Walt Disney Company, this is what Google gives me, where it not only enlists the related pages, but it also comes up with a number of information parameters for the subject queried. Now, how does exactly Google do that? It can do that so easily because most of the information in Google is stored in the form of knowledge graphs, which is basically uh, nodes or entities related by some kind of relation. So when a query is made on some node, it, it knows all the related nodes and it can enlist all the related information. To define it formally, knowledge graph uh, is a graph which has nodes or entities, which can be either objects or events, which are related in the form of free-form semantics, which makes it easy to understand and easy for computer programs to query uh, in an efficient manner. And actually, the nodes can not only have a single label, but it can also have something called frames, which has more detailed information on each node. And this information can, of course, be updated over time. So, uh, in order to efficiently query such a graph, the information is that the relations can be expressed in the form of resource description framework, which is the most popular form of uh, uh, relation that can be uh, expressed. For example, if I need to express the relation that Bob is employed by a company Google, it can be expressed in the form of Bob as the subject is employed by is as the predicate and Google in the object. So let us take an example. This is the same knowledge graph that we had shown in the first slide. So if we want to query who painted Mona Lisa, we can see there's an adjacent node with a relation painted to Mona Lisa, and this node has the label Da Vinci. So it can be easily assessed that Da Vinci painted Mona Lisa. Similarly, we can query when was James born, and we can see on the node James there is a relation is born on 1st of January 1984. So it's easy to understand that James was born on this date. It can also handle slightly more complex queries. For example, we can query where is Mona Lisa located. Now, there's no adjacent node which has a relation located, but we can, if we go through the graph, you can see Mona Lisa is in the Louvre Museum, which is located in Paris. So it can be inferred that Mona Lisa is actually in Paris. So coming into the specific application of this kind of graphs in the crop and pest diseases, there can be two kind of approaches. Called the top-down and the bottoms-up approach. In the top-down approach, it starts with the model or the concept, which is then unrolled, and then it goes into the actual data, which is stored in the data layer. It can also be done the other way, where the data layer is constructed first with all the specific data, and then it's rolled up into the concepts, and then basically gets rolled up into the whole tree. Now I'll let my colleagues ex uh, explain in detail the construction of knowledge graph for the crop and pest diseases.
Good morning. I'm Bharti Chaudhary. I'll share the idea of knowledge graph construction for crop diseases and crop pests. So, the data structure of crop diseases and pest knowledge is very complex compared to other fields, owing to its so many kinds and large quantities. And there are instances where the extracted knowledge is ambiguous and incomplete with missing relationships, missing labels, and missing entities, and also inconsistent with other entities. Graph construction cleans and completes the extraction graph and incorporates ontological constraints for the missing information and also incorporates statistical relationships within the knowledge graph. Knowledge graph construction is summarized into four parts, such as knowledge representation, knowledge extraction, knowledge fusion, and knowledge reasoning. Knowledge graph extraction includes extracting entities, relationships, and attributes from structured, semi-structured, and unstructured data through entity alignment and ontological matching. Then evaluating the quality of knowledge base and updating knowledge. Knowledge knowledge base has data from so many different sources, and this knowledge should be aligned and fused. So knowledge fusion links between the knowledge base and entities of crop, pest and disease and updates the knowledge map by aligning and fusing continuously. Knowledge reasoning deals with the missing information and hidden information from the extracted data. Ontology of crop pests and crop diseases is a model of representing and organizing the knowledge in a formal and machine understandable way. So, RDF is a standard and widely used framework for knowledge representation. RDF is a language to describe resources. Resources is nothing but a concept or thing in the world. Knowledge in RDF is represented as triplets of subject, predicate, and object. Crop diseases, pathogens, symptoms, location of disease, and pesticides are subject and objects. The cause of disease, control methods, selection, and application methods are predicates. Let us see one example of knowledge graph representation in tobacco mosaic disease. So tobacco mosaic disease is very prevalent in tobacco plants as well as other plants also, and this leads to significant yield loss in many plants. So tobacco mosaic disease, so this has symptoms of flower leaf burn and leaf curl, and the route of transmission of this disease is through the infected sap part of a plant, and this is transmitted through the host plant, means from the infected part of the plant to throughout the plant this infection is transmitted. And so related diseases are like tobacco blight disease and black root of tobacco root. Let us see the RDF graph model for infectious crop diseases of corn crop. Here we are looking at the crop corn. The relationship of crop and diseases is represented as a binary relationship, and the node disease represents the relation, and this node relational phrase is unique for every relation of crop and disease, and the entities belonging to the same information unit are associated with the same resource at, through the attribute part of. This figure represents the ontology structure of citrus pests and diseases with 6 data attributes and 12 object attributes for the class instances, disease, pest control, pest control method, feature, cause, and others. Thank you. The remaining part of the presentation will be continued by my other teammates.
Hello everyone, I am Subhashankar Chatterjee and I'll be presenting about knowledge extraction. in crop diseases. Now I'll just switch off my video. Okay, so mm, knowledge graph construction, knowledge extraction, knowledge acquisition in the knowledge mapping of crop disease and insect pests extracts entities, relationships, and attributes manually or automatically from semi-structured tables and unstructured texts. Artificial intelligence extraction is usually based on the rules of plant protection experts to collect and collate information about plant diseases. The knowledge base of the crop disease and insect pests have been constructed, including crop ontology knowledge base and diagnostic rule knowledge base. Automatic extraction methods such as ontology learning technology refers to the use of machine learning technology and natural language processing for the knowledge extraction of the pests and diseases. But the main question that arises here is how to obtain knowledge of crop pests and diseases from agricultural data sources. Well, that will be discussed in the next few slides, uh, including entities, relationships, and attribute extractions. Entity extraction. Entity recognition refers to the automatic recognition of named entities from text, that is, how to recognize meaningful entity information such as a person, place's name. Named entity recognition methods are mainly divided into three categories, namely methods based on dictionary and rule, statistical machine learning based methods, and hybrid methods. Early entity recognition is based on dictionary and rules. However, it is time consuming and laborious to build a dictionary encompassing all kinds of crop diseases and pest entities. Dictionary based methods usually require combination with other methods. Currently, pest detections are mainly with other methods. Currently, pest detections are mainly integrated into machine learning methods in the form of dictionary features. Additionally, a vertical field and the method based on rules can increase accuracy. However, these methods has obvious limitations. Depending on pest and disease experts, writing the rules consumes a lot of manpower and scalability is poor. Hence, adapting to changes in the data is difficult. Now, moving on to the next topic, that is our relationship extraction. Well, relationship extraction identifies and obtains semantic relationship between entities from a large number of irregular corpus. At present, more research is based on machine learning methods to extract relations. An advantage includes the absence of need to construct templates manually, automatic learning of corpus, and strong probabilities. Relationship extraction falls into three following categories. Supervised learning methods. According to the training data, we design an effective feature, learned various classes, classification models, and then use to train classifier to predict the relationship. However, this method requires manual labeling, training corpus, which is usually time consuming and laborious. Semi-supervised learning methods. Bootstrapping is used to extract relations. First, several seed instances are set manually, and then relational templates or more instances are extracted iteratively from the data. Unsupervised learning methods. Assuming the entities with the same semantic relationship have similar contextual information, each entity uses the corresponding contextual information to represent the semantic relationship of the entity pair and clusters of all the semantic relationships of the entity pair. From previous research, it has been shown that unsupervised learning has a good effect in terms of relationship extraction. The next thing that we want to discuss is attribute extraction. Attribute extraction targets crops, pest entities such as pesticide attributes, including production, certificate number, dosage, and toxicity. The entity can be fully described by attributes, considering that attribute value can be regarded as relationship between entity and attribute value. Attribute extraction can be transformed into relation extraction too. And that's all for our knowledge extraction.
Hello, respected teachers and my dear friends. My name is Aradhya Sawant, and I will be discussing the applications of knowledge graph of crop diseases and insect pests. Knowledge graph provides a more effective way for the expression, organization, management, and utilization of massive, heterogeneous, and dynamic large data information, which improves the level of intelligence and is closer to human cognitive thinking. At present, knowledge graph technology is mainly used in three things. They are CropPest Expert System, Intelligent Semantic Search, and CropPest Knowledge Question and Answering System. Let us briefly discuss each application one by one, starting with CropPest Expert System. Many expert systems have been early developed for the diagnosis and control of crop diseases and insect pests, but only few have been popularized and applied because the amount of knowledge in knowledge base is insufficient. Most of them can only realize the query function of knowledge. Essentially, they are only an information publishing system, and the intelligent range and decision making ability of experts is difficult to surpass. Traditionally, expert systems for crop diseases and pests have weak decision making and reasoning abilities. For example, most expert systems for crop cultivation are knowledge and rule based, which cannot be closely integrated with crop growth models. The reasoning process of human experts can hardly be imitated. They only use the shallow knowledge of the system but lack dynamic prediction function and reasoning interpretation. The application of knowledge map in crop pest expert system has promoted the development of precision agriculture. For example, Rajendra et al. Proposed a framework and rule-based knowledge representation method to determine whether peanut plants are infected by certain diseases. Nascimento et al. Developed a handheld diagnostic tool for pests and diseases by using expert knowledge to assist the diagnosis of important pests in commercial data. Mendes et al. Constructed a variable speed irrigation control expert system for rational fertilization and irrigation of crops. The knowledge map of crop diseases and insect pests not only provides data, model, and knowledge products, but also uses its own advantage of knowledge relevance to meet the needs of decision support. The expert system based on the knowledge map of crop diseases and insect pests is highly comprehensive, accurate, and scalable. In the future, more crop pest expert systems based on machine learning technology will provide a highly accurate decision support for crop pest prediction and diagnosis. Let us now briefly discuss intelligent semantic search. Faced with massive data, intelligent semantic search in the field of crop diseases and insect pests establishes a large-scale knowledge base of diseases and insect pests, retrieves entities from the knowledge maps of diseases and insect pests, and returns entity pairs and attribute values associated with entities, thus expanding the query results and improving the search methods and accuracy. At present, most search engines at home and abroad have been improved to semantic search based on knowledge map. Semantic search based on knowledge graph technology enables computers to truly understand users' needs and provide accurate answers rather than related link sequences. This is the flowchart of the processes used in search engine framework based on knowledge graph. When a user enters a query question, the system first processes the sentence, including entity recognition, syntactic analysis, and semantic analysis. At the same time, constructs the corresponding grammar analysis tree and then submits the processing results to the knowledge search and distribution module. Finds the search template matching the processing results and clarifies the user's search intention. After identifying the search intention, forwarded according to the intention. Finally, the processing results of requests are integrated, sorted, and recommended. Blondet et al. Proposed an advanced search engine based on knowledge mapping technology to search and list different types of biomedical entities, including genes, diseases, drugs, targets, and transcription factors associated with user queries with fast response. Let us now move to question and answering system. The knowledge map technology of crop diseases and insect pests can be applied to a new generation of agricultural system model and knowledge question and answer products, and can help accelerate agricultural innovation and meet the demand for the automatic acquisition of agricultural knowledge. At present, the methods used in question and answering system mainly include the following. A. Information retrieval based approach. It is a shallow semantic analysis method based on keyword matching and information extraction, which uses question information and knowledge based resources to obtain candidate answers. B. Semantic parsing based approach. Natural language questions are passed into a logical form of expressions through which the answers can be found from the knowledge base. C. Modeling method based on vector space. Vector space is used to describe natural language question and entities and relationships in knowledge maps. Question answering models are generated by machine and in-depth learning. Question answering system based on knowledge map maps the expression of natural language parsing into vocabulary of knowledge map elements, which enhances the performance and expansibility of question answering system. Now, let us conclude this presentation. So with the development of information technology, data in the field of crop diseases and insect pests have been accumulated. Constructing knowledge graph can improve the management, the extent of sharing, and application of crop pest and diseases knowledge. The development of intelligent agriculture and precision agriculture is greatly significant and is also a future research hotspot. The combination of knowledge atlas and pest knowledge will promote the automation and intellectualization of crop pest and disease related systems. Many attempts have been made to study the knowledge map of crop diseases and insect pests, but they were not perfect. In the future, knowledge map of crop diseases and insect pests can be deeply studied from the following aspects. A. Implement the overall situation to improve the quality of knowledge maps. B. Explore how the knowledge maps can be extended and the general method of knowledge map construction. C. Implement and establish the evaluation criteria of the knowledge atlas in the field of pests and diseases. And D. Achieve fast and accurate construction of large-scale domain knowledge map. With the emergence of large-scale networks, the expansion and automation of knowledge map will be the trend of future developments in this field. Thank you.